back to another episode of TAAP, the American Armory Podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Michael.
And, it's kind of cold out here in the Midwest. Colder for you than it is for me. I don't mind the cold nearly as much as you do.
I don't like the cold.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, we can't really find a range that's willing to shut down for a couple hours for us to go shoot. So,
yeah,
that leaves us with coming up with ideas we can do in the studio. And
right.
You just built this studio. I don't think you want bullet holes in it yet.
No.
And I don't think the local police department wants to come out here because we decided to shoot.
Yeah. The issue with going to a range, as the problem is if people like to shoot, and there's a lot of people here that like to shoot, they're all going to the range to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So ranges around this time are a little busier than I want them to be.
Well, and in all reality, just for the purposes of shooting, for you to be able to hear us and what's going on, we can't have 5 other people there that are shooting whatever they happen to bring with them.
Yeah.
So we need more of a controlled environment, which we're working on that a little bit. But if you happen to have in the Omaha area some land, preferably a good bit of land with a long straight stretch.
Yep.
But at this point, any decent amount of land that you would be willing to, or if you know someone that has it that'd be willing to donate it, we will set up all the targets. We'll leave them there. You can use them as long as you're not shooting anything that's going to destroy the targets. Only caveat is we need to be able to go out there whenever we need to shoot, because we would definitely love to get some range days in.
Yep. And we go to the range, we just can't record it there because we're just not able to.
Well, let me rephrase that. We'd like to get some video of range days in.
There you go.
We get the range days. It's just not something that's video worthy.
Yep. So to help this out, the more likes and subscribes we are, the more we're able to get out and do more stuff like that.
Yep. So and we do still have the contest going on with the merch.
Yep.
Like, subscribe, share, and comment for a chance to win. That this contest is going to be ending shortly.
Right.
Maybe another month at the most, I think, and we'll be wrapping everything up with it.
Right.
But no, if you do have access to land or know someone has access to land, please reach out. We would love nothing more than to set up a private range that you, your friends, and we can use.
Right.
And hey, we'll even have range days with you, maybe.
Oh yeah. You can even be a guest on the show if you wanted.
So with that, we've had to kind of get creative. You've seen the police interaction videos that we've done, which we both enjoy doing those. They seem to go over pretty well.
Yeah.
Came up with another idea. Kind of give you some insight into how we think. And so what we're going to do is we've each come up with different scenarios. And neither of us know what the scenarios are.
We don't.
So we're going to give these scenarios to each other and see how we would handle a scenario kind of going in blind.
All right.
I'm going to go first. I will warn you that these may get a little bit more information based on what you say.
So it's going to, and that's what the thing is, when we go to the scenarios, there's going to be questions that are asked and stuff like that. And I like doing these kind of scenarios. I run these scenarios on myself, only because, when you're sitting there, you got to put yourself in the other person's shoes. And when you're watching a lot of these police interaction videos that I like, well, what if this? What if it was this? What if it was that? Mm-hmm. I like the what if.
Well, I've got a problem. I've got big, wide feet, so it's hard for me to get myself in other people's shoes a lot of the time.
That's true.
All right.
All right, what do you got for me?
So here's your scenario. You're at the gas station getting gas. And, normally you're at the gas station, you've got a row of pumps with cars on either side, and then a kind of a wide lane, and then another row of pumps where cars. So you're in the inside here. There's a car kind of across that drive-through lane from you.
Okay.
They're getting gas too, or at least they're pulled up to the pump.
Okay.
And you hear some arguing coming from inside the vehicle.
Okay.
A large male gets out of the driver's side, which is the side up closest to the pumps.
Okay.
Walks around to the passenger door, opens it rather violently, and yanks the female that is sitting in there out of the vehicle and kind of tosses her to the ground as he yanks her out.
Okay.
What do you do?
Mind my own damn business. First and foremost, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mind my own business. You know, bitches be tripping, and you know what? Maybe he had enough of her shit. I don't.
So you're gonna reach into your car and pull out the popcorn and just kind of, yep.
Yeah, I I would have to say I'm going to mind my own business. I'm not going to. If I interject, so here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem I have with this scenario. If you interject, I don't think it's going to stop. If the guy is going to do something bad, he is. You saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" isn't going. Oh, my bad. I didn't know anybody was watching. You're at a goddamn gas station.
It's on camera.
Yeah, I don't. My first instinct is mind my own damn business.
So let's take it a step further.
Okay.
You're minding your business, and he reaches back and starts with his big old bare hand, open hand, slapping her across the face.
Open hand?
Yeah.
He's just trying to keep his pimp hand strong. I don't know. I think I'd probably at that point I would probably walk around. I probably wouldn't. How big is this guy?
He's a good sized guy. He's 6'1", 6'2".
Has he seen the gym? Does he know the gym?
He's kind of that barrel chested guy, kind of power lifter build.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna walk in the gas station, and I'm gonna say you need to call the police. This guy is beating the hell out of his woman there.
That might be his woman. That might be why he's beating the hell out of her.
It could be.
So
I would probably have someone else call the police or call the police, call 911. I would maybe even, put the gas away, drive around and say, hey, police, this is what's going on. I don't think I want to get directly involved. She's going to get her ass whooped, probably, but I don't want my ass whooped too. I don't want to be sitting next to her.
So you're going to let her take her beating?
I'm not going to interact. I don't know what happened. They were arguing. I don't know if she scratched the shit out of him and then he's like, you know what, I'm done. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns. I'm going to have to say I like to mind my own damn business.
Yeah, and I guess this is where we have a little bit of a difference in our thought process.
Okay.
For the most part, I'm with you when he walks around and yanks her out of the car and tosses her onto the concrete.
Yeah.
Probably gonna mind my own business as much as I can. I don't know. I think, and again, it's hard to really say here's what's happening without being able to, you can say here's what's happening, but you take in, especially if you're like us and you're very observant, you take in a lot more than
right.
I'd have to write 4 or 5 pages of here's exactly what happened for it to even match what we can take in.
Right.
Once he starts getting to the point where he's physically striking, that's probably when I'm at least verbally interjecting. Hey, that's enough. Back off.
But then you're going to get the who the hell you think you are? You know what? I mean,
it doesn't matter who I am. You need to stop now. Police are on their way. Unless you really want to have a bigger issue, I'd recommend stopping.
That's what I would say. If I were going to say anything, I would simply say, hey, I'm calling the police, and it looks like they're inside the store calling the police too. I'd probably stop. If I were going to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is when you start to say anything, you may take the attention off of there. So let's take your what if a little further.
Okay.
What if he says, screw you, reaches in, grabs a tire iron, and starts coming after you?
Well, that's when he's going to find out that he's having a really, really bad day.
Correct, because you're going to
drop him. Now he has
him.
a deadly weapon.
Right, and now you're going to have to drop him. So you, in interjecting, then it became a deadly situation. If you didn't say anything, would it have not gotten to that step?
We don't know. Could he have beaten her to death right there?
That's true.
And really, he might not even intend on it. She may be getting up, and he may take that big old bear maw and give her a big whack, and she falls down, smacks the back of her head on the concrete, and
yeah. I mean,
I'm more of a guard dog type person.
I used to be.
Yeah.
I don't like to be that anymore. Listen. I have to. It's survival of the fittest in my situation. So if I don't know you, and you're not part of my crew, you're not part of my family, friends, that
inner
deal,
circle.
my inner circle. Unless I'm now, if the guy pulled a tire iron out and he was going to beat her with a tire iron, that's a different situation.
Because now it's a deadly force situation.
Right.
So he is using a weapon, and that is considered a deadly weapon.
Yeah. To me, it's a domestic violence thing. It's with no weapons involved. I don't want to get involved in. Those are the worst calls to go on as a police officer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Why the hell would I want to interject mine on one of those? That would be my opinion. So I'd be like, I would roll down the window as I'm driving around, and I'm like, I may turn around and shine my brights at him and say, and then if he comes at me with a tire iron, I'm in a car.
Yeah.
At least I have some padding around me. If I have to, use him as a speed bump, I can do that too. But no, I don't think I'm gonna. I want to say I'm gonna probably try to leave well enough alone. Now, here's my problem, and I hate my friends. And you're included in this shit too. And I hate when my wife does it too. They know they know I could be that guard dog.
Mm-hmm.
I know they know. And all it would take is any of my friends. You gonna let that happen? Poke the bear. And of course, then I'm obligated.
Right.
So I don't like to obligate myself because I know I have assholes like you and my wife and everybody else.
Here's the difference. We've already established this. I'm not going to sit there and say, Michael, are you going to let that happen? I'm like, all right, you're coming with me because I'm getting involved.
That's my problem too. Yeah, that's why I say.
So now he's going to get double the hole punches.
Right. Now,
it's 2 for Tuesday.
And this is my problem. If I was that scenario was me by myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a completely different scenario if we're sitting out there together, because we're going to look at each other and go, all right, let's do this.
Well, and now we also know if we do take that attention from her to us, now it's a 2-on-1 situation.
Right, and that's a little different situation. So
yeah.
I have assholes as friends. I've accepted this. I'm okay with this. My wife does it to me too, so it's I'm used to it. So I don't try to look for it by myself.
Now going back to what you said, I tell him to stop and that the police are on the way, and he looks at me and gives me a, well, fuck you too, and reaches into the car and grabs a tire iron. He's going to get drawn on real quick.
Yeah.
He'll probably get one chance to drop it, and if he keeps coming forward, and that chance to drop it will be as I'm backing away to create that distance. Because remember the 21-foot rule, and at this point we're probably within 21 feet of each other.
Yeah.
But if he keeps advancing, it's going to be pop, 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 pop.
So, and I joke around, and I know you joke around too. And we're we say things to each other that you probably don't want to say out loud to others.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified that we're going to run into this situation because this guy's going to reach into there. And I'm going to look over him, and he's going to be smiling. And I'm going, great, I can work on my shot placement. That's not what we want to do.
Well, you're going to look over at me, or with me, sitting there going, dumb ways to die.
And this is why we can't get into this situation together.
I know.
Because the police officer goes, did you really say this? Well, it seemed like the right thing to say at the time. Wait, I got a better idea. I don't speak without my lawyer.
Yes. And when the police show up, that's exactly what would be happening is I would either have the firearm reholstered or somewhere secure and safe. And when they came up to me and said, can you tell me what happened? officer, I'd really like to help you out, but I'm having a really bad day right now.
Or a really good day.
I'm not going to tell him I'm having a really good day. I've got some target practice in.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that. That's.
But no, what I'm going to say in that situation is, officer, I'd love to help you, but I'm having a real bad day right now, and I don't answer questions without my lawyer, and I'm going to exercise my right to remain silent.
I think I'd probably say, on the hood of the car is where I left it. I unloaded it for you. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say to you.
Now here's the thing. You said that you'd unload it.
Yeah.
I have seen lawyers discuss situations that involve a self-defense shooting. And oftentimes they say, do not unload it.
Really?
Yes. Because then you can be charged with tampering with evidence. They say leave it in the exact same situation that it was after you fired the last shot. And then make sure it's somewhere secure. Either on your body, or if it's something where someone kicked in the door to your house, on the kitchen table or on the counter or whatever. But do not, because that would have been my first thought too, is, well, I'll drop the mag, clear the chamber, and have it sitting there for them.
So what if you get the gun away from someone? My first thing would be clearing it to make sure that it's not going to harm me.
Right, so if
is that tampering with evidence?
Well, so what I would say, and just in what I've listened to in these conversations, is you're good with if they drew a gun and then you drew a gun and put them down, you're good with the kicking it away from their hand a little bit. Although some of them have said that you might not even want to do that. Which to me is just kind of crazy. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to stand here pointing my gun at them until the police show up and hope they don't shoot me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have video, video helps a lot.
And if it's a situation, let's just say that gas station, if instead of reaching in and grabbing a tire iron, he reaches in and grabs his gun, well, this is all going to be on video because those pumps are all on video.
Yeah.
At that point, I would feel safe with going up, kicking the gun to the side so it's out of his reach, and kind of doing a little bit of a look at him to see, is he still breathing?
See, a tire iron, we're going to have a problem. If he was going in there to get a gun, I'd take the hose, I'd spray his ass. Go ahead and fire that gun now, bitch.
I don't think they have that much range.
Burning to death would suck.
I don't think they have that much range.
They have a lot more range than you think.
Yeah.
I watched a guy. I watched a video of that happening.
Here's our luck. You do that, and then we get charged with arson.
I didn't light the fire.
We didn't start the fire. All right. So.
All right. You ready for yours?
Did you like that situation?
I like that situation.
Right.
You ready for this one?
I am.
I'm okay. So, you have a woman in a grocery store stealing.
Okay.
Okay. The security's trying to get her contained.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to fight. You're standing at the register, kind of, right there. It's happening right in front of you. She's holding a baby, and she pulls a gun out to try and get away and get the people off of her. What do you do?
How crowded is the area?
There's quite a few people in line. I mean, it's a
busy day at the
grocery store. Yep.
She's holding a baby, fighting them, and pulls out a gun.
Yep.
So my first question is, why the hell didn't any of them take the baby from her?
Oh, a lot of people don't want to.
If you're trying to detain her, if you're store security, store security shouldn't be physically detaining her.
I agree. But it does happen.
When I was younger, I've worked security at places, and there was a time where they're like, yeah, if they cross the point of sale area and head out the door,
and that's where she's at.
If you can take them down, by all means. We had a couple of rather vicious football style takedowns in the parking lot, but
right.
Since then, it's become a real big thing where if you're store security, you shouldn't be trying to detain them. It's just observe, essentially.
Right. So they caught her stealing. Mm-hmm. As she was going through, she went past the registers. They stopped her there, and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
So they're just essentially trying.
They're trying to keep her from leaving the store with all the merchandise.
So they're not wrestling with her. Or...
Not really. They're not really wrestling with her. They may have their hand out on, pushing her back into the store, but no, they're not actually, trying to wrestle her to the ground. No, this is now she's like, I got to get out of here. So she has this kid in her arm and she pulls the gun trying to get out. What do you do?
Boop. Boop. I'll keep an eye in that direction, but this is, I'm definitely not getting involved in this situation if I absolutely can avoid it. Too many variables, too many people. I probably don't have a good line of sight to her, and even if I did have a good line of sight to her, but let's go through things.
Yeah.
I don't want to hit the person on the other side of her.
What if it's not busy? What if it's really late and there's really you're kind of one of the only people in there with a few workers?
I don't know. I think that in a situation like this, she's brandishing a firearm, which that makes it tough.
Right.
If it was a knife or something where they could step back and create that distance,
yeah,
that'd be a little bit different. And she's a crazy fuck because she's doing this with a baby in her arms.
Yeah.
I think because she has a baby in her arms, I think I still do not get involved.
Okay.
I don't want to take the chance of causing something to happen to that baby.
Yeah.
And in all reality, the store security should be, okay, go ahead, leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they do something beyond that and get themselves shot, well, then they're stupid motherfuckers.
I agree. Now, remove the baby from the situation.
Remove the baby. It's late in the evening.
Clear line of shot.
Clear line of sight.
Her finger is on the trigger.
Her fingers, at that point, I may draw and tell her drop it.
Okay.
And have her in my sights, and if she does anything... Is she finger on the trigger and she's got it pointed at one of their chests?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a drop it, and if that gun doesn't immediately go down, she gets a couple of freedom pellets.
Yep.
If she's got it between them, that gives you a little bit more time. But if she's got finger on the trigger pointing it right at one of their chests, she's in the position to shoot and kill.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a sheepdog, and there are times where I hate having to be a sheepdog because it puts me in bad situations trying to help someone else out.
Right.
But that's just my nature. I want to protect the innocent, and these people that are security for the store are being dumbasses and trying to stop her because they shouldn't. But at the same time, once she crosses that point of I'm going to display something that is a deadly force item, that kind of makes the decision, especially when you remove the variable of that baby.
Yeah, that baby was a key variable in that argument there, because that is a big factor. God, it's
so. What would you do in that situation?
I would probably duck down. I would probably duck down to get behind the register. With the baby in there, I would probably tell the security or whoever is there, the manager, whoever's trying to stop her, just let her go. I'll buy the shit for her. Just to try to defuse that situation. If they stop her and there was no baby in that situation, and when she pulls that finger and that finger's on the trigger, and I would say there's, just like we saw a couple other videos that we've done, you have a 1 to 2 second thought process here.
At most.
I would probably unholster and would be down, and I would be like, she couldn't see it, but I'm right here. I'm right here. That's my range. And I don't know if I would say anything if even for a split second, if I saw that finger start to squeeze, or I start to see that gun start to wheel around. If I can get that an opportunity to shoot and take out the threat there, as she moved it from person to person, that middle ground is where I'm going to time my shot, and hopefully she goes down. And if she does happen to pull the trigger, she's down.
Yeah. So,
the baby is the problem in that.
So let me throw something in here with the baby in this one, because I like that. I like that scenario, and that baby just fucks with it.
Yes, it does.
So she's got the baby. They're doing the nope, stop, you're not leaving. She pulls out a gun, and now she shoots one of them.
Yeah.
Then she turns to shoot the other one.
You don't have a choice. If you're going to be in there and you're going to be the sheepdog, or if you're going to go, because here's the thing: if she's going to wheel around and then she turns around and you're a witness, what's to say she's not going to take you out next?
Right.
Once
what's to say she just didn't go off the deep end and decided, fuck it, I'm capping everyone.
Right. Once she has shot that firearm, the baby no longer is in play. That baby goes, whether there's a baby there or not, that goes out of play once that trigger is pulled.
Yeah.
Because now it's, I have to survive.
Right. Yeah,
and she's already made the commitment of killing someone. So I have to take I have to make sure that I'm going to walk out of that store.
At that point, I have to trust that I can shoot straight, hit my target, and avoid hitting the baby.
Yeah. I'm gonna. That's where muscle memory. That's where training. That's where that's gonna come into play.
If I do hit the baby, that's gonna suck emotionally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in a situation like that, you have to look at it and say, you know what, I had to do what I had to do. There wasn't any other option. At that point, she had left you with nothing else that you could do. Yeah.
There were options, but she took those options away from you. The minute she pulls that trigger, she took those away from you. It is a different scenario if it was a knife.
Right.
That's a completely different scenario in that. So, I don't know. I thought that was a good one.
That was a good one. I liked that. So,
all right.
A little bit of insight into our line of thought. Found out that I'm definitely the sheepdog of the two of us.
Yeah.
Michael is gonna smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Listen, I'm the trained canine. I'm waiting for the signals. I'm gonna wait for the signals. I'm gonna wait for the command. And when my wife says get him, well, that's she's the one that controls that leash. Don't want to say it that way, but I mean, there. Sure. Have you we all know, I know guys that are like this. I've made contact with those guys. I've been on the other end when, the woman went crazy and the guy looked at me and goes, I gotta do what I gotta do. And I'm like, well, I know that's opposing what I'm doing here, but I get it. I feel you're paid, but hopefully you have a compromise moment at that point. But listen, I sleep with her. I have to do what she says if I want to continue to sleep with her.
And if you're out with me, there's always the chance that we get into one of these situations. You're gonna, oh shit, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's. I'm hoping between the two of us we could diffuse something like that.
And I think that's in that situation I gave you. I think that is key. Is all of a sudden, instead of being 1-on-1, it's 2-on-1, which can quickly change. Even if he's bigger than both of us, can quickly change their attitude of, oh well, I'm bigger than you, because unfortunately most people that are bigger have I'm big man, so I can do anything I want syndrome.
Well, and when your scenario is a one person, now you take us both in that grocery store, and I may go down on this, and you may try to sneak around to see if you could,
get the baby,
or grab the gun or something like that. And then if she tries to wheel around, I could protect that. So, when you have a partner or you have someone that is trained to do that way, this is why police officers like to go in there together. That's why they like to do that. It makes the situation a little safer for them, even in bad situations.
Right.
So, it's tag teaming does help.
And you know the problem is you never know what that other person is going to do.
Right.
We've got a video that we do on police interaction that'll be up after this one, where it just exemplifies that.
Yeah.
You never know when stupid's gonna kick in.
Yeah, and that's the biggest issue that you run into is you're not sure where things are gonna go and how they're gonna go.
Yeah.
I like the scenarios because it really, these scenarios, we could put the initial scenario out there, and then we kind of tear it apart and say, well, what about this?
Yeah.
Or what?
Do a what if with it.
You can kind of play around and move around those scenarios and say, well, let's remove this element, let's put this element in, and you could change it around, and it really does change the outcome, doesn't it?
It does. It changes a lot of things. I mean, you know, there's a big difference between whether it's just you or you and another person,
Right.
and something like this happens. There's a big difference between does she have a baby, does she not have a baby?
Right.
You know, does he reach into his car and grab a tire iron, or does he just get lippy and point at you and yell, mind your own business?
Yep. So, and I hate to do this, but if we go back to your scenario, and that woman that he drug out, she's holding a baby. That completely changes that whole scenario too.
Yeah, you see him grab her and throw her to the floor, and there's a baby in her arm that starts crying all of a sudden. That really changes
now
you're probably more apt to jump into action.
Right. Now there's like, and there's, I will tell you, there might be a little bit more of a rage there. I might, instead of just saying, hey, I'm gonna call the police, I was like, why don't you come over here and throw me around and see what the fuck happens here? It may be a lot more aggressive once you involve a baby in that scenario. It does change the scenario. Because now I don't care. I think he could kill that baby, so maybe that can justify deadly force.
Or what if it's not a baby, but it's also not a full-grown woman? What if it's a 10, 11, 12-year-old girl?
Yeah, see, there's a different story there. It also changes is this a kidnapping situation?
Right.
If she starts screaming, help, I need my mom, or something like that, or help, I need my dad, or something like that, where it's an indication that this is not a parent.
Right. He lets out where do you think you're going?
Yeah, that changes things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you go to, now this guy's possibly a kidnapper. You know, no, I want to go back to my mom and dad. You know,
well, you hear that. At that point, I'm probably drawing and ordering him down to the ground.
Yeah, see, you see how the scenario just changed. I tell you, I don't like it to be true, but women get better treatment in certain situations and get better protection than guys do in the same situation.
Yeah, definitely.
And it also changes when you start getting them into kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way it is. So.
I kind of like this. We'll come up with some more scenarios for each other.
I like these scenarios. Yeah, I got a couple. I've already written a couple down.
So do I. So do
All
I.
right.
And, but any closing thoughts on these scenarios?
Yeah, I would actually, based off the scenario, I would like to see some comments on, do you agree with us on how we took action? Should we be more aggressive? Should we be more, that's none of my business and I need to, not do shit?
Yeah. Let us know what you think with these. Where is it that you would draw that line in, now I need to do something? Yeah,
where's your line in the sand that you draw in the scenarios that we're going for? Yeah, I'd like to see it. Because I always like to question, am I doing the right thing? Am I being too soft? Am I being too hard?
And here's, I'll kind of wrap up with this. Because these really play into a self-defense situation where you're not defending yourself, but there is self-defense where you're defending another person.
Right.
And in most jurisdictions, the threshold for self-defense is what would a reasonable person do?
Yeah.
And here's the hard part. Most people think they're a reasonable person.
I know. And with the training and stuff that I have, I don't know if I'm more reasonable, less reasonable, more. So I would like help from you guys to kind of show where that line of the sand is, to see if I'm lining up with that. Yeah.
That goes for me too. I'd like to see what you think, see where your line in the sand is, what you think would be reasonable and justifiable.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you've got a situation for us, go ahead and put that in there too.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to throw a
Please.
situation at us, because we even if it's just something real basic, we can expand on it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap us up.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Everyone, take care and stay safe out there.
Keep your hands to yourself.
And close your mouth.
Keep your mouth shut.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.